welcome to another Cup of Joe. I'm Liz Rossell with Sea Level Social, and as always, I am joined by Joe Pettit of Joe Pettit Inspires and Kern Halls of Ingenious Culinary Concepts. And if you've missed a couple of episodes, we're wrapping up a three-part series today. When we look at all of these episodes each week, we think, what's happening right now at your district? And so we have talked about staying positive and calming anxieties of parents, of your team, and today we're going to talk about students. So we're really excited to bring this conversation to you, pull from some real life things that we've seen online and in talking to districts, and give you some advice and guidance to stay positive and make sure your students feel calm as we reopen schools. So with that, I'll pass it over to Joe.
Thank you so much, Liz. Kern, good to see you both. Good to have you all tuned in with us on the Cup of Joe as we kind of pivot into, we're getting close. It's time to actually talk about school starts, and probably when this airs for many states, many districts, you're starting in person, virtual, whatever the case may be. I believe we still play an important role with how we try to keep students motivated, how we can play that great part, because I've heard the stories, and you two have probably heard them as well, about how one of the happiest places for students is when they come to the cafeteria. I mean, that's not only where they may get some nuggets by chicken, but they may also get some nuggets that you give them as well, right? So one of the things that I think is extremely important for us to keep in mind and to remember during something like this is to understand that we need to really just relax, not show our anxiety. We have to almost put on what we call in the restaurant world is you got to go on stage. And so as a nutrition service professional, one of the jobs that we want to do is just put our students at ease. Make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do, relax, crack a joke, have a little bit of fun, and get that youthfulness out of them, right? Because that's what we want to really be able to create from elementary to older. So one of the things that I just want to really encourage you all is to have fun with them. Get them to have fun, because they are the life of the school, and the more life they have, the more alive the school will be. So that's just a little bit of what I really want to encourage you all who are watching this to do. How about you, Kern? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely, Joe. Thanks. It's nice seeing you all as usual. It's definitely very different, right? So a lot of these students have been cooped up in the homes or where they're living at right now for months and months and months. And they have cabin fever. My son just says he wants to go back to school just to see his friends and hang out. And I get that. I understand that as a youth. I totally get that. And I totally understand that, right? So one of the things that we have to do is that, like you said, just kind of be joyful, right? Just talking to them, jovial, talking to them, making sure they're engaged in the whole process, but also just making sure when they come back, it's really going to be uncomfortable walking into the school building if they decide to come into the school building. So you have to make them at ease as best as you can, right? Like you said, you should be really learning your students' names. You should be really engaged with them, making sure that they're sitting there and they're having a good time, just making them feel comfortable, right? Because at the end of the day, the cafeteria is a space where people come to have a relief or a break. They've been in classes all day. They come to the cafeteria. It's time to woosah, and they're coming to you to make sure that they can have a good time and just kind of relax from the day-to-day and go back to your classes. So it's definitely going to be up to you to make sure that you make this as comfortable and easy as possible, Joe.
I love that you mentioned, Kern, about like being a calming presence too, because we talked about 2 episodes ago, we talked about calming the nerves of parents, but sometimes there just is no calming their nerves. So they could be coming from a home that is filled with anxiety right now, and by extension, they're anxious and nervous about getting there. Not to take it to a dark place, but something that has recently made their rounds on social media. I'm sure you've both seen it. There's a photo that's going viral of a child at the grocery store. Their hair is completely matted. They're wearing like dirty pajamas, and someone took a photo of the child from behind and said, "We don't know what all of these kids have been through while they're home in quarantine," and we've always said that these could be the only meals this child is getting. Who knows what else is happening at home? So if you are in person, and I know that people have feelings whether they like or don't like being in person, for some of those kids, this, like both of you said, and I'll try not to cry, this could be a welcomed change for so many kids. Yeah. So being, like Kern said, being calm, and then how Joe said, being excited and happy and And I love how, Kern, your idea of just making sure you know your students' names, especially those kids that you know need it, is just going to be so important. So on top of that, my 2 cents is consistency. Just try to keep everybody consistently happy and calm and looking out for those kids that especially need it right now, and where being at school is a welcome change for them.
Definitely.
100%. And just, just to finish up on and build off what Liz is saying as well, is if you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that we all want the students to really realize themselves, reach their potential, but that's at the top. And there's 4 levels that you have to reach to get to that top. And so for a lot of us, by really being able to provide the food, that's why we are essential workers in school nutrition, that really being able to provide that is a building block literally to get them to understand their full potential. And that's the motivation that should give us as those who are frontline operators enough drive to be able to go in and really help connect and inspire our students every single day.
Well, Joe and Kern, I know we're continuing through as the school year starts. We're going to pivot our series as needed for the industry, but I'm really excited about our next episode because, Kern, something that you've been providing to school nutrition for years is a real hands-on approach to getting student feedback. And for those that are still going virtual but still need that feedback, I'm really excited for that episode to dive into how to keep tabs on those students that are, that are not with you all the time, and still even those that maybe you have half at your school, to be able to still get that data and that feedback from them so that you're still serving them what they want as we continue the new school year. So stay tuned for that episode. Don't forget, there's also always a worksheet for every episode in the description so that your team can go along and follow with us. Joe and Kern, did I leave anything out?
No, I think you got pretty much covered everything, Liz.
All right, perfect. All right, I'm excited. Thanks for watching this series. Thank you to all that are watching. Share with your team if you think that they find value in it as well, and we appreciate you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.